Tonight, the grandmother of a Baltimore County murder victim is slamming the justice system. Her grandson was killed while sleeping in his own bed. Andrew Blessing's grandmother says his suspected killer never should have been allowed back on the street given his criminal history.
I feel like my grandson's the victim in all of this. You know, he wasn't out on the streets. He wasn't fighting anyone. You know, he was home in his bed asleep.
Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor joins us in studio following her conversation with Diane Blessing this afternoon. Rebecca.
Here, Kai. Diane Blessing describes her grandson as caring, kind, and family-oriented. She says he was a dedicated father to a young girl and was working to take over the family's HVAC company. And although his accused killers are now behind bars, she believes the criminal justice system should have done more to protect him.
He was my everything, you know. We had a special relationship right from the get-go.
Holding tightly to a photo of her grandson, 19-year-old Andrew Blessing.
I think I was the first one to hold him when he was born. I was the last one to hold him, you know, before he passed away.
Diane Blessing recalls the moment he died in her arms. Last December, their Towson home on Beaver Bank Circle broken into in the middle of the night.
We were sleeping, and I just heard the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. You know, one after another, after another, after another. And I knew immediately that it was gunfire.
She rushed downstairs where Andrew was sleeping, but by the time she reached him, Diane says the intruders were gone.
I just relived that night over and over and over again, all day long. All day long, I'm running, I'm talking to you, I'm running down them steps. I'm at work, I'm running down those steps.
Earlier this month, police arresting Mark Jackson and Daquan Ferguson for the crime. According to charging documents, Blessing was with Ferguson's girlfriend, 21-year-old Amoni Rogers, when he was murdered. Later that night, police finding Rogers' body with multiple gunshot wounds in Druid Hill Park, reportedly shot with the same gun used to kill Blessing. Court records also revealing Ferguson has a record of repeat firearms offenses and was found in violation of his parole just days before Blessing's murder.
I don't want to hear that it's not reasonable to think that a warrant can be served within 3 days. If they would have served the warrant, my grandson would be alive right now.
Despite his extensive criminal history, a judge releasing Ferguson following the parole violation. A few months later, he's accused of attempting to murder 2 more people. The Maryland judiciary saying they can't comment on pending or impending legal matters when asked to explain the judge's decision.
Basically, I feel like the system and the judge, they might as well have pulled the trigger themselves, honestly.
Diane says she's breaking her silence to clear her grandson's name. While Blessing had previously been investigated by Baltimore City's Group Violence Unit and faced a firearms charge of his own, she insists he had learned from his mistakes and was actively working to turn his life around.
He wasn't about that life at all. All he was worried about was working and taking care of his daughter.
Adding to the complexity of the case, police are still investigating a possible connection between Blessing's murder and a mass shooting that occurred outside of a Towson funeral home 1 week later. The department telling Fox 45 they have yet to rule out possible gang ties.
Is there any reason why police would say that they could be connected?
I mean, I don't know. They haven't shared. They've told me no.
Were any of Andrew's, I think you said his friends were potentially involved in that?
They were the victims, you know. They were targeted, they were ambushed. They weren't shooting back.
Months later, police continue to search for a suspect, while Diane holds on to hope that her grandson's accused killers will never be released again.
Justice is that they're never free, that they die in jail.
Now, in addition to the mass shooting, Baltimore County Police have yet to make any arrests in Rogers' murder as well. Reporting live in studio, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.